There we go. All right. It's episode 93.
What?
1993. What happened
It's
in the year
93?
Yeah.
Didn't I say it was 93 last week?
Yeah, you were time traveling. It was 92.
Oh,
Um,
that's sad.
that's Brian. I'm Kevin. Once you have so many podcast episodes, it really doesn't matter what
We're
number
so
we're
famous.
on. Just know that we're in the 90s.
Can we talk about 93 for a second?
Yes, we can talk about 93.
Okay. Just for people who love hip hop, 1993 is probably the greatest year in the history of hip hop music. Okay, you
And
ready
why
for
is
this?
that?
I will tell you. Here are the albums that came out in 1993. Wu-Tang Clan, Enter the 36 Chambers, Enter the Wu-Tang. Midnight Marauders by Tribe Called Quest. Doggy Style by Snoop. I got to keep going. There's some other ones that like people put on the top. I'm like, man, that's fine. Those three just alone. Diggable Planets, the original, amazing. Black Sunday, Cypress Hill. Tupac had an album, one of his first albums that year. It just.
How old were you in 1993? Was that
Lethal Injection, Ice
too
Cube,
personal of a
The
question?
Roots? No, I was in 8th going to 9th grade.
Okay,
it was
so
a great
this
year.
was
Great year. It's when you're, and now that I'm a parent, it's like,
yeah.
if anyone knows Snoop Dogg's original album, Doggy Style, and you just like the album cover, everything, like just imagining my mom and dad being like, what are you listening to?
I was going to ask you, what was the first parental advisory CD?
That's right. 93 is right about the time.
Yeah.
Because before that, I was listening to like some Vanilla Ice, Rex and Effects, Black Sheep. Like it was borderline, but
wait,
right?
Did CDs exist in 93? Did you get a cassette?
Kevin.
Okay.
I had cassettes before that, and then you go to like Sam Goody on like a Friday. You go buy the new CD for the week. It's actually great. I mean, kids don't really know what they're missing here. So
yeah, I mean, we're both part of the generation where, and I think we have an interesting split of ages, so I can look at the demographics of our listeners and our readers, and we have like people your age and people my age. And so, but even if you combine both of our groups together, I mean, I knew what a CD, I grew up with a cassette. Like I had a cassette player in my household growing up. And so it's just interesting to think of like the evolution of how we've consumed our music and just technology in general, and how, I guess it's probably maybe the same for different generations, but before a cassette, there was only records, right?
Yeah. I mean, I grew up in a time like 93 was still the time where like you would listen to the radio and try to like record the songs on the radio. So you'd have a blank cassette tape in your player, and then you'd listen to like the top 7 at 7 or whatever, Cube 93, and then you'd press record on the radio, and you would get like the DJ intro and stuff. And that was just part of the mixtape you made. And these young folks, the really young folks that listen to the podcast, they have no idea what's going on. They probably turned it off. But
or like a VHS thing where my dad would record all the games on a VHS.
Yeah.
And then you'd get you'd always leave some buffer, right? Like 10 minutes after in case the thing goes to overtime.
That's the worst if you didn't give it enough time and then you missed the best part. That's happened.
Or if you were tasked with doing it.
Yeah.
So I remember many times my dad asked me to do it, or you'd forget.
Yeah, he'd be out and you'd be home or something.
You'd be
Yeah. That's a lot of
weird
pressure.
Thing.
This is pressure like these kids don't know,
Yeah.
They're just on.
I'll just go on. I remember I was supposed to, LMU was playing a basketball game and I was in charge of recording the game, and I didn't press the button.
Wait, this is for like when you were a manager?
When I was a manager, there was no game tape for, I think this, like one of these scrimmages. I was toast.
Damn. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. You know who else is toast, Kev?
Not the Mariners.
No, this is my leadoff for today.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Kevin Durant for a second. Okay. Kind of random, I get it. I'm wearing the Sonic sweatshirt though, so I think it's relevant here. Kevin Durant obviously started in Seattle, and I think Seattle people kind of have a soft spot there's a lot of talk about, hey, if the Sonics come back, some sort of random social media chatter this week about Steve Kerr being the head coach. It was kind of out of the blue, but by people who are in the know. So I was like, that's interesting. But we don't have anything to report or really talk about there. But Kevin Durant, like, oh, he'll have his last year. I'll come back to Seattle. And I'm just going to go on record saying, like, no, thank you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, Kevin Durant will probably listen to this podcast the way he operates on Twitter, and he'll probably respond on one of his burner accounts. But what he's doing in Houston right now, whatever the case, it's super weird, right? So, like, nobody knows the real story, but he misses game 1. He plays game 2. He misses game 3, and he's not on the bench with his teammates in Houston at all, right? They're currently playing game 4 as we record. They're crushing the Lakers. I don't know if he's on the bench or not, but at some point, Kevin Durant, the story is the same everywhere you go post Golden State, right? He goes to Oklahoma City, goes to Golden State. After that, it just turns into a soap opera and a mess everywhere he goes. Brooklyn was a mess. He made them hire Steve Nash, then he made them fire Steve Nash, basically, right? Whether that's true or not, there's a lot of smoke around that. Then he forces his way out of Brooklyn, and he goes to Phoenix. And Phoenix was coming off a finals run. It was very exciting, and they just tanked. And then they are much better this year without him, right? Now he's in Houston. Everyone got all excited, and then at the All-Star break, he has this like burner account that then like just roasts all his teammates, and they seemingly don't want to play with him, or he doesn't want to play with them, or some version of it, and it just keeps happening everywhere he goes. And I just think for a guy who's a top 5 scorer in the history of the NBA, one of the best offensive players ever,
the best Team USA player of all time.
Okay, I had to pause on my Carmelo Anthony time. I mean, Carmelo was sick. And Steph Curry is just in the mind from the last one, but I know he's only played in one. Yeah, Durant's the all-time leading scorer, right, in U.S. history. Yeah, he's going to be obviously a Hall of Famer, and I think what will happen is people won't remember all the teammate stuff, and they'll just look at his stats 20 years from now. And the reality is, like, there's a reason his teams aren't winning. Like, I don't think it works. Whatever he's got going on is not working. So
yeah,
that's my Kevin Durant Sonics. I don't want him back. How about that?
I wanted to. This is my lead off. I wanted to issue a correction.
Oh,
kind of a series of corrections in some context.
A series.
So one of our, we had a good listener here. The father of new UW transfer portal edition, Parker Friedrichsen.
Okay.
So I want to get the name right because we're pronouncing it Friedrichsen. So it's Friedrichsen.
Okay.
And you posed a question about Oklahoma basketball.
Yeah, and so his dad responded.
He let us know that Bixby High School is in 6A. It's the top classification
6A. Dang.
In Oklahoma. And when Parker graduated, only 3 guys had scored 2,000 points in 6A.
Okay.
There's a guy named Shake Milton, and there's a guy named
NBA,
and there's also
played
a guy
for the
named
Sixers.
Yeah, there's a guy named Trae Young.
Pretty good.
And there's a guy named Parker Friedrichsen. So there you go.
Well, that's pretty good company.
That answers, and he's excited to be a Husky.
That's awesome. Hey, you know what? I'm sure his dad only saw our Instagram reel and didn't actually listen to the whole podcast.
He watched the podcast. He watched the podcast.
You know what? I correct myself. Mr. Friedrichsen. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Thank you. That's awesome. Thank you for watching. I hope you watch this week as well. And I'm more excited for Parker now to be on the Dogs. That's elite company. Shake Milton and Trae Young. That's amazing.
I'd never heard of Shake Milton, to be honest.
Kev, so come on. Shake Milton? Backup guard for the Sixers? Legit. Yeah, Shake Milton's great. I don't think his first name is actually Shake, but that's what he goes by.
Oh, he was born in 96. Went to SMU, drafted
Malik Benjamin Shake Milton. Yeah.
God.
Shake Milton's a dude, man. He's a dude.
That's incredible. Gatorade Player of the Year in Oklahoma for 2.
Well, I would imagine, right? Yeah.
2 seasons.
He's been on a lot of NBA teams, but Philly, Philly from 2018. 2023, and then he looks like he didn't play in the league this year. So he was playing.
I'm a little excited for a little more excited for Parker.
Yeah,
that's quite the stat.
I mean that goes. But thank you to Parker's father for bringing this to our attention, because it goes to my original point. My original point is like, I just didn't know what Oklahoma basketball is like, and I know what level they played in, whether it was 2A, whatever. 6A is obviously good time Oklahoma basketball. And my original point was like, these dudes are insane. And like, everybody thinks their kid can go play Division I basketball. I'm like, nope. These guys are insane. They're really, really good. Let's move on to something more exciting. Kev, the Seattle Mariners are 14-15, which, I don't know, if you asked me in March, I might be like, that's a little disappointing.
Yeah.
Right now, it feels pretty good. Don't you think?
I mean, they're technically a game and a half out of first place in the standings, but really everyone seems to have 14 wins in the AL West.
True.
Well, Oakland has 15, the Rangers have 14, the Mariners have 14, Angels have 12, and Astros have 11. And like, I mean, the Astros are bad, but they do have someone in the MVP running that I just saw.
Yeah, Jordan Alvarez is ridiculous.
Yeah, but you know who's more ridiculous? Aaron Judge. He seemingly just has a ironclad hold on being the MVP favorite. So, anyways, the Mariners are.
You just talk about MVP on April 27th, Kevin. 26th.
Yeah. I mean, that's almost how many months are there?
Come on, we don't need to talk about the MVP. You keep counting.
1/6. We're over a sixth of the season.
My thing is always on May 1st. I look at the standings before that because I can't help it, and I look at the record. But on May 1st is like my check-in. Are we freaking out? Are we good?
Yeah.
What's going on? And so they have 3 games before May 1st. I'll be going to the game on May 1st, trying to get a Randy Johnson replica jersey. Very excited about that. So they have 3 games in Minnesota, and they're 14-15. They win that series, they're 16-16. They somehow sweep. Obviously, they'll be above 500. I wouldn't expect a sweep with Luis Castillo kicking off that series, but hopefully they can win the series and just be 500 on May 1st, and then we'll be all right.
Yeah. I think that
they've won 4 in a row. They just swept the Cardinals. We can't be disappointed. They're starting to play a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah. Should we talk about the rotation, or do you want?
Before we get to the rotation, here's what I want to talk about. So social media, as always, has a lot of feelings about Dan Wilson.
Yeah.
And his managing. Where do you stand on Dan Wilson?
Okay, so I think the first thing that needs to be put out there is that I think it's fair to assume that Dan Wilson is not making every single decision on the baseball field. And I think that's just
I don't know if that's true anymore.
Okay.
Like, what do you mean by that?
I mean that, like, the front office has a say in certain things. And I don't know how much, and I don't know to what level. Or I could be wrong, and it could just be free reins, and he's making every single decision out there.
Well, I don't think. I would argue it's neither of those, right? But it's in between. So,
yep.
Does he have full analytics information? Is he manager in part because he will read the analytics that Dipoto and Hollander want? Yes. Does every team? They were talking about this with the Red Sox. They just fired their whole staff, and they have like 30 people in analytics making decisions every day. So does he go into a day? Does Dan Wilson go into a day and say, if they bring in this pitcher, I'm going to pinch hit this guy, right? Yes. Does he go in saying, here are your relievers, here's the pocket they're going to pitch in this game? But I tend to believe he has more freedom within that than people say. Some people say.
Yeah.
So, for example, could he not pinch hit in the 5th inning when they bring in a lefty and he brings in Connor Joe for Luke Raley or whatever it is? Could he wait till the 7th? I think he could. I could be wrong. It could be just the rule that they all agree to that they're going to do it. I don't think that's the case. Does he have freedom to say, I'm going to go Bizzardo earlier than like today, I'll give you the example, right? So Gabe Spire comes in the 7th. He pitches 3 batters. He walks one of them. Jordan Walker's coming up. He brings in Bizzardo. They probably have all kind of agreed on that. Like if they're in that case, they do that. But like, could he keep Spire in if he feels good about it? I kind of feel like he could, but maybe you think that's all predetermined and he couldn't. What do you think?
No, I think actually what you're saying is right. That there's at a minimum he's working within certain frameworks.
Yeah.
But then he has discretion to make certain things. And of course,
so if we can agree on that,
I think we can agree there.
Okay,
yeah.
Then what do you think about him as a manager compared to what everyone says? Like, or where are you in the camp? It's a big dilemma on not dilemma, debate.
I think I this is cheating, but I want to take a step back and like really pose the question, like, how much does the manager really matter over 162 game season? How much more does it matter whether your star players are playing up to their potential and whether they're breaking slumps? Like that to me is more important. Like I just think that like Dan Wilson can't really lose that many games over over 162 game season. Like he doesn't have a WAR. Like I just don't. It doesn't make sense to me.
Counterpoint.
Okay, go ahead.
First, I'll start with the playoffs last year.
Yeah,
we talked about this. He had Bizzardo pitching in the 7th. The announcers, different people. It's a playoff. Playoffs are different, right?
Yeah.
Let me preface that. He should have gone Munoz 3-1, right? And he gives up the 3-run homer to Springer. Bizzardo is not your best reliever. You got to go to your best reliever when you need an out. Doesn't matter what the inning is. That's a different scenario. This year, there have been a couple games we talked about on a previous podcast that you can look at and say, Wilson cost them the game is strong, right? But did he do anything to help? No, maybe hurt. So there's a game he pinch hits Rayleigh in like the 5th. Rayleigh's like hitting 380 at the time. Ref Snyder's struggling. Rayleigh's spot comes up again in the 8th, and now Ref Snyder's going against a righty, right? Like, so we're pinch hitting really early, and there's other situations with relievers where it's like we're going to Casey Legumina in a tie game. They lose the game. The next day, Casey Legumina is DFA'd and they trade him. So why are we doing that? Like, why are we going, right? So
yeah,
that you could theoretically point to games where you think the general consensus would say, what are we doing? And I try to be objective. So I want to counterpoint and say, like, if you fall in that camp, which it doesn't sound like you do, but a lot of people on Twitter do, then don't you also have to say Dan Wilson won the last 2 games of this series and was worth 2 WAR?
Yeah, and the other point is when there's reactions like that, so it's like, well, I'm going to say that Dan Wilson's a bad manager because he made this choice and they lost the game. I do think that there is more to it than just the actual game. Like, he's making decisions.
Totally
this
agree.
is April, right? Like,
yeah, you can.
I could come up with a million of reasons why you're going to pitch a guy in not exactly a high leverage situation. Why are you putting out the 3rd best reliever?
Right.
Well, it's April. You got to build capacity. Like, why are you pulling a pitcher early? Because you're easing them into this. Like, there's a million different reasons. He's obviously and that's kind of his discretion, right? He's like weighing in his head. Well, like, yeah, I could go all out and win this game or go all out and win the series. Like, I think he's definitely managing a game differently, whether if a game, there's guys that are going to get rested. Like, there's all these different things.
The bullpen is almost like a different category than like the pinch hitting stuff.
Yeah.
I think there's legit complaints to the short-sightedness, I'd say, of I mean, it seemed like there was this stretch, and it's going to continue to happen, where we're so lefty heavy right now. So the lineup goes after Randy. It usually goes Rayleigh, Canzone. JP's been leading off since Donovan has been hurt, but then it's like Young, Rivas, right? So there are all these lefties in a row, or switch hitter for Rivas. And so they bring in a lefty, and then Crawford leads off, right? So they bring in a lefty in like the 6th inning. And it seems like they're doing it knowing that we're going to pinch hit and get like Luke Raley and Canzone has not been pinch hit for, but Raley's been out of the game.
Yeah.
And so, that has felt bad about, let's say if we did this podcast 6 days ago. But the flip side is this. So the Mariners win this absurd game where Brian Wu gives up 7 runs. Dan Wilson starts, sorry, I have to get his first name, Will Wilson, who got called up for the minors, 27 years old. Will Wilson hits a 2-run homer in the game. He pinch hits for him later with Dom Canzone, who gets an RBI single. Rivas then comes in and gets a 2 RBI single to win the game. He also pinch hits Connor Joe, who gets a 2 RBI single late in the game. So all these pinch hits that have not worked.
He's hitting.
Right? He nailed it. Now today was the best of the best, right? So bullpen and pinch hitting. So bullpen, Munoz and Brash are out today, right? It's a 2-2 game in the 7th. He brings in Spire. As I said, 1 on, 2 outs. He brings in Bizzardo, gets out of the inning on 1 pitch. I believe Bizzardo then finishes the 8th. So he's got Spire, Bizzardo, and the radio. I was listening to the radio, and Gary Hill and Ryan Rowland Smith are like, Brash or Munoz must be available. Because wouldn't you pitch Spire or Bizzardo in the 9th if they weren't? No, it's Ferrer who pitches the 9th today. The guy they got for Harry Ford, who pitched 2 innings yesterday, and he's their new rubber arm reliever, and he gets out of the 9th, and they win the game 3-2. On top of that, in the top of the 9th, Rob Refsnyder, our dude, who my wife refers to as Rob Fun Snyder, hits a pinch hit home run. Not only that, the epic part of it was, I don't know if I sent this to you, there's an ABS call because the umpire calls him out on strikes on a pitch 5.9 inches off the plate. Refsnyder taps the helmet. They correct it. By the way, this umpire was 0 for 7 today on ABS challenges. Not a great day. And Refsnyder hits a home run to win the game. So Dan, 2 days in a row, is brilliant. It's all working out. So if you're going to be in the camp that criticizes him, which I have been, you also got to give him his flowers. Like, they don't win these 2 games without Dan Wilson.
Yeah. And I'll just end with this. Maybe you've just proved my point. Like, it just cancels each other out.
You might be right.
It all cancels itself out, right?
Maybe obviously, Julio hitting 360 over the last 18 games, and Cal Raleigh hitting what, 6 home runs in the last 8 games or something like that. Maybe that's what matters more. Maybe that's really what matters.
Yeah,
certainly matters when Brian Wu gives up 7 runs.
Yeah.
Speaking of Brian Wu in the rotation, the last thing I want to talk about with the Mariners is this positive dilemma that they have going. So I would say, tell me if I'm wrong. Are we fair to say that Kirby, Gilbert, and Wu are safe in the rotation?
Yes.
Is that silly? That's not even, that's silly to talk
even
about.
If one of them was on this incredible skid to start the year, they're good enough that you've seen enough data over their time as Mariners that they'll usually get to a point where they're good.
Yeah.
Or
Wu might have been tipping pitches or something. He was really shocked. He was like, what is happening? Because he gave up 3 home runs or something like that. I hope by the time he pitches again on Friday in Seattle when I'm there that he's figured out whatever it is or somebody has helped him, which they're pretty good at. But to your point, Gilbert's got I'm looking this up as we talk. Gilbert's been okay. He's got a 4.36 ERA. He doesn't feel like he's been that bad, but Wu's at 3.86 after his 1 terrible start. He was sub 2 before that. Kirby's at 2.96 ERA on the season, right?
Yeah.
But the question is, Bryce Miller, has had 2 rehab starts, and he's probably 2 starts away from coming up. Well, Emerson Hancock's got a 2.86 ERA.
Yeah.
Luis Castillo's been the worst, right?
Yeah.
Of everybody. Do we
not bad, not horrible though. Not Castillo's not at the point where you're it's an obvious just demote him or kick him out of the rotation. I don't think he's there at that point yet.
Right. So okay. Your point I don't know if I agree with you or not, which is okay. Like it gets to the point of what is the right decision, right? So if you make the argument, which is great, that Castillo and his 5.01 ERA
it's not
is
bad,
not worse enough, even though that's pretty bad. And he's also a veteran. Like, what does that do for the vibes of the clubhouse? He's 33 years old. I think he's in the last year of his deal. Like, he's got an agent, right? Do you want to be the team that pulls a guy from the rotation in his free agency year, and then that agent's like, well, I'm never going to sign a player with you again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because when you do a guy wrong like that, it has an impact. He gave up 2 earned runs against the A's last start, 5 innings. He was okay. Padres 4 runs, only 1 earned. He was bad against Houston. LA 3 earned runs, 4 total. New York 0 earned runs. So you're right. He's kind of inconsistent. He hasn't gone 6 innings in 4 straight starts. So what do they do with Bryce Miller when he comes?
So the first thing is like, make sure he's fully ready to go.
I mean, they're certainly doing that. They're stretching it out so that he's like really
stretch him out
ready.
in the minors. So that's one. The second thing is like, which Bryce Miller are we going to get?
I love Bryce Miller, dude. Do you know that I just love him?
but
he's my favorite.
Last season he came back, then he got injured.
He was not
good.
And
then he came back, and then he looked great in the playoffs. But
he was great in the playoffs. It's true.
I think what you need to do is
he had a 5.68 ERA last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm okay running the 6-man rotation temporarily.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it to a point where you're actually like it's counterproductive, because the reason why you don't want to do a 6-man rotation for the rest of the season is because then you're losing value out of you're basically sucking starts away from Woo, Kirby, and
yeah, you don't want to do it when you have like average starters, but if like, and maybe Castillo does get to the point where you're like, you got to have that difficult conversation. But if you're rolling out guys with Gilbert aside, right? Like Woo had 1 bad start, but if Woo, Kirby, and Hancock are running around 3 ERAs, and then you add a good Bryce Miller, who's, by the way, been throwing 98, which he hasn't done in 2 years in the minors. Yeah, maybe you do a 6-man rotation, because
I think you do it until like mid-June, maybe. So it's end of April. We'll have the month of May. There's 2 possibilities. You do it to the end of June, right? One possibility is everyone stays healthy, and there's an obvious odd man out, right? Which is probably Castillo. I don't know if you can at that point if he even has trade value, right?
I mean, it's interesting. Like, there are teams who always want an innings eater guy, right? And obviously, as I said, he hasn't really done that this year, but he's capable of throwing 5-6 innings. And like, there are plenty of teams who don't have a guy who can do that.
Yeah, that's a great point. And the other point, before you continue, I just want to get this out here, is that it might help Castillo if he's pitching a little less too, right?
Yeah.
And so then maybe he starts to perform well, his trade stock goes up, and then, it's easy to do the trade. But like,
I
have a hard time like thinking like I'm just not at the point where I'm like, he's bad.
Right.
And you can't trade a bad pitcher, but I'm also at like,
I don't know. I mean,
don't want to trade him. It doesn't feel right to trade him, right? Does it feel right to you?
I feel okay with it.
Like, I feel like you could get a haul for Hancock, but that could be a gigantic mistake.
You can't get a haul for Hancock. He hasn't proven anything. What has he proven?
So you think you'd get a higher return for Castillo than?
No, I don't. I think you could get, because Castillo's in his 33 in his last year, and he's got diminishing velocity.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any contract anymore, which is good and bad, because it's not like a bad contract left over. But a free agent guy doesn't get you anything really in return. Hancock's got years of service, so I think he would get you more. But Hancock's done this he had a nice little postseason. He's done 6 starts this year. Like, that's not getting you anything.
It's not enough. And that's
right?
the other. That's probably like the third road is that Hancock just regresses. But I for some reason I don't see that happening.
He has a hard time getting through the 6th. So my like crazy scenario that they won't ever do, but I think could be interesting. We were just talking about this bullpen thing, right? So Brash and Munoz were down today. This happens all the time. It's one of the best parts about baseball. If you watch a team day to day, the Cardinals and the Mariners today were playing a 2-2 game going into the 9th, and both teams didn't have their closer and probably didn't have their second guy. The Cardinals probably had their second guy, but they didn't have, another guy in their pen. And so both teams have to figure it out. That's awesome. It's like so fun about baseball. Like I said, Ferrer gets the save today. It was rad. But with that said, there's so many games and so many times the bullpen is maxed out. Is it crazy to go like Hancock for 4, Castillo for 3 every 5th day?
I think Castillo could be like a hybrid long relief, like spot start.
And but you always match them, and so you always know.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't always predict what's going to happen. Like, what if guy gets blown up in the first inning? But like, if you put them on the same day, and you just know you're going to be able to save the pen a little bit on those days. I mean, it's outside the box. It
doesn't even have to be when Hancock starts. It could also be like Brian Wu gets blown up for 7 runs, and then you roll out Castillo.
That's like a long reliever. But I think Castillo would probably hate either way.
Hate that crap, yeah.
But I mean, I just think if you know you're pitching on the 5th day, right? Yeah. You're pitching on this day. You're both pitching. Like ideally you both go 4 and you can max out your velocity and then we just turn it over to someone in the 9th. I don't know. It's probably crazy, but it feels like somebody should try it if they have 6 starters. And
I'm pretty sure the last 5 years, there's always been an injured starter.
Right. That's the thing that's going to make this a moot point eventually is that someone's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to the point of what you wrote in our notes that I wanted to bring up also.
Yeah.
It's not crazy to talk about Cade Anderson in the starting mix as well. Now, he'll probably be actually that sort of if he came up at the end of the year. This would not be anytime soon. But thinking about like Hancock in the playoffs last year, Bryce Miller in the playoffs, you get Cade Anderson to come in for a couple innings piggybacking on somebody late in the year. That's really intriguing. Just so people who haven't been following, Cade Anderson's first 4 pro starts, Kevin put this in our notes, 18 2/3 innings, 9 hits, 1 run, 4 walks, 30 strikeouts. 18 2/3 innings, 30 strikeouts. He's been a top 5 minor league pitcher in baseball. He's been ridiculous. Ryan Sloan has not been as good. He's been great velocity, and he only pitches like, they both don't go really 5 innings yet. They're building up their arms. They're really being careful with their arms, which is great. Sloan has been his ERA is pretty high, and he gives up 2 or 3 runs per start, but he gets the strikeout numbers. Cade Anderson's been the one who's been, he's been sick. He's been ridiculous. So best case scenario, you have 7 guys in September going for the playoffs. I don't know. That would be cool. Are you locked in on the screen? What's happening right now, Kevin?
No,
you're in a trance.
No. Sorry, I saw something flash about the next topic, which is Seahawks.
Okay,
yeah.
I thought it was. I
No.
Thought you were really like, I love Cade Anderson.
No. Yeah, no, I'm excited about Cade Anderson.
You do love Cade Anderson.
That's why I pasted that.
You do love him. You do love him. What would it take you to go to Arkansas and watch Cade Anderson pitch?
I really hope that by the time I really hope that he's promoted to the Inland Empire 66ers.
No, he can't be promoted. That he's in AA.
So he has
promotion
to go to
is Tacoma. Promotion is Tacoma. Yeah.
God.
So you're not getting the
so I won't be
Empire.
able to watch.
You're not getting Sloan or him or Emerson.
Dang,
any
dude.
of them. You're getting none of them.
We bought the 10 game package.
Well,
today.
You'll see somebody, but it's not going to be those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk about Cole Emerson another time, but I still can't wait till he comes up. He's been
Cole
hurt,
Young is killing it right now too.
Cole Young's doing great.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of things to like about the Mariners. This is the longest we've talked about them in a long time, but we'll see.
I told you I wasn't worried. Yeah.
You did. How do you feel about are you worried about the Seahawks in their draft? Do you give them an F? Like some people on Twitter?
No. Why? I'm not giving the executive of the year who's hit on like every player the past couple years an F.
No.
He gets at least a C, right? For benefit of the doubt, but
it's better than a C. Can you recap what the Seahawks did? Do you have it in front of you?
Yeah, I do have it in front of me. So they had 4 picks. They turned it into 8. They made 3 trades.
Yep.
Let's just start with the headliner.
Yep.
So they picked Jadarian Price, who we talked about. He was the backup for Jeremiah Love. And he was the second. Price was the second running back chosen, and he was chosen with the last pick in the first round. And it was just kind of the obvious pick. Like the Seahawks had a need, which was running back, and we've talked about it on the podcast. Like they didn't sign anyone in free agency. Charbonnet is still injured.
Emmanuel Wilson.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah,
don't make fun of Emmanuel Wilson.
But they really didn't have anybody, and Elsner wasn't really psyched about George Holani being the starting running back heading into the fall, and I don't necessarily know if Price will be, right? Like, so that was the first draft pick. I mean,
do you just like refer to me in like the third person sort of, but also I'm right here?
Yeah.
That was fun.
That was weird.
He will be the starting running back.
Yeah.
He will 100% be the starting running back.
Yeah. I think the con is like, man, that's kind of not that exciting for him to be the starter.
A first round draft pick to be the starting running back is not exciting to you?
I mean, most boards had him
as breakaway speed.
Yeah, most boards had him as a day 2 talent. Like, I don't know.
I don't know if that's. I mean, everyone had him as the second best running back.
Yeah. That went number 32 in what you termed a weak draft.
Yeah, but no one drafts running backs.
Yeah.
In the first round anymore. There's a clip of Mel Kiper from like 15 years ago saying how stupid it is to draft a running back in the first round.
Why is that?
Because you can. It's the same thing we talked about. You can replace them all the time. The reason it's smart for the Seahawks is even if they like him a little bit and he's okay, right? Even if he has Ken Walker's career. I know Ken Walker, everyone's like, oh, he's the greatest running back ever because they won the Super Bowl. Kevin Walker was not an all-pro, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say he has Ken Walker's career. You just got 5 years out of him on a rookie contract. And by the time he's done with that rookie contract, if he's great, he can go to free agency and get a big payday like Ken Walker did. And if he's not great, you go find somebody else. You just got 5 years out of a running back, their best 5 years of their career, probably.
Yeah.
It sounds cold and calculated, but from a business perspective, drafting a running back at that point, especially when you're the Super Bowl champs and you definitely don't need a receiver. You don't need a tight end.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need if the draft class is weak, go get a position that you can mix in with Charbonnet when he's back. Wilson will be in the mix. Holani and McIntosh can compete, but you got a guy now. You got a guy with talent above what you had in your room. At least that's the hope, right? And then when Charbonnet's back, you got 3 dudes who can compete just fine.
Yep.
I'm just going to continue to say it. As much as we loved Ken Walker's not an elite running back talent in the NFL. Ken Walker is replaceable. He's a good running back. He's a good running back.
Yeah.
He's not Saquon Barkley. He's not Jahmyr Gibbs. I don't know who else would even be in the category of elite running backs in the NFL at this point. Those 2 guys are freaks, right? So I think it's a great pick. What else did they do after him?
Well, can I do some big picture stuff? They were pretty heavy on DBs.
Do whatever you want, Kev. Just go.
So half of the picks were defensive backs, and I think the idea is to get depth because you lost who was it? Reek Woolen.
Yep.
Did they lose anybody else? in the secondary?
Well, they brought back Josh Jobe. They lost Kobe Bryant to the Bears. Safety.
Yeah. So then, so here's who we drafted in the secondary. So the round 2 pick, number 64, was Bud Clark, a safety out of TCU.
Yep.
Round 3, number 99, Julian Neal, a cornerback out of Arkansas. He's a big physical corner, 6'2", 203.
Yep.
They also got in round 7 2 cornerbacks, Andre Fuller from Toledo and Michael Dansby from Arizona. Was he the very last pick? I think was he
not
Mr.
of the
Irrelevant?
Whole draft? No,
okay.
We didn't have the last one. Yeah.
Okay. So, anyways, out of that, you can take this however you want, but like, is there any of those guys that stand out to you that you want to talk about, or how do you see the secondary? Do these draft picks change your vision for the secondary moving forward? Do you think it's going to be a little weaker because of the inexperience, or
No, I think Clark and Neal are great draft pick. I mean, I'm going to trust what McDonald and Schneider said. They were actually more excited talking about these guys than they were Price, which is kind of interesting. When for a draft time where coaches' reactions are getting a lot of attention, Sean McVay and the Rams, when they asked Schneider about
no attention because they're at therapy, for day 3.
Sure. When they asked Schneider, his first reaction was, "We tried to trade back. We couldn't find a trade partner." That's how he responded to the Price pick, which is always kind of interesting. Then he says, "We like him, blah, blah, blah." But with Clark and Neal, they were like jacked. This is the type of dudes in the secondary they want. There was some quote about like, if I think it was Bud Clark, if Bud Clark gets in the room with Witherspoon, my God, that's a lot of energy. Like those dudes are ready to roll. Neal has this great story. I don't know if you saw this, where the shipment of hats he was supposed to get to put on the table for the video never arrived. And he told his aunt to go out and buy only one hat, and it was the Seahawks. And then he got drafted by the Seahawks.
He was wearing the hat when they picked him.
I know. And he just, the interview was awesome.
Yeah.
They said they were going to pick him when they talked to him. Clark was all like, I mean, they just have these great quotes. This is the quote about it. They're both really confident guys. Bud's going to be fun too. He's a blast. Mike and I is just Schneider. Mike and I were talking about the personalities throughout the process. Like, man, if we put Bud and Spoon in the same room, what's going to happen? So that combo, and then you have Nicky Minwari. I just think they have like young, speed, fun. I think it's great. They got a lot of depth in the secondary, actually. These guys got to hit. One of them's got to be really good, but with McDonald's scheme and that speed and that athleticism, like it seems like great picks to me. And then I think the one that Kev, maybe this is just Seahawks hopefuls, their 4th round pick, they traded up to get him. Do I have it right? It's Bo Stevens.
Yeah, he might have been round 5, I think.
I think they went up. They gave up a 4th to get into the 5th round. Yeah, so they gave up a 4th round pick next year to go get him. They didn't have a 5th round pick. And they have 12 picks next year, including multiple 4th rounders. So that's part of the reason. But are we all hoping he's going to be the right guard that supplants Anthony Bradford, or is that just terrible to say right now? Yeah. I mean, this guy was all conference. He was like all American nominee, I think.
Yeah.
He's big. Do you
want to know the cons?
Seems like a steal. Yeah, please tell me.
He ran the 3rd slowest 40 of any combine player.
He's a guard. Who cares what he runs?
He had the shortest arms among 22 guards.
Oh, that's why you have to play guard. You can't play tackle if you have short arms, right?
Yeah. It's all physical things. I think he's made it this far. It's hard for me to believe that he won't be capable to play in the NFL. Who else? Are we ready? Is there anything else about the Seahawks?
No, it's just that's interesting. I mean, those cons are interesting. I mean, he may just be backup guard. Obviously, Bradford played on the Super Bowl winning team, but just people were kind of coming around and defending Bradford at the end. And like, you could just go look at his numbers throughout the last 3 years.
He didn't allow a sack and 581 pass block snaps.
Anthony Bradford?
Good. No, Stevens.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Anthony Bradford allowed a sack. I just think I got to look it up now. I got to look up guards in the NFL. Like, do we have the PFF? I think I discontinued when they sold their thing. I'm looking from February, the highest guards. He's definitely not going to be on this list. How far down can I? Oh, Damian Lewis, number 7. Remember him? He was on the Seahawks at one point. Remember Damian Lewis? No, you don't even watch the Seahawks.
No, I do remember. I think I remember.
Well, we didn't have a guard in the top 20. I could tell you that for sure. And Anthony Bradford's probably not very high. And I think he was the weak link on the line. Gray's able in the second year. I mean, I just think that was a good pick. So they didn't have a lot of picks. I think it's fun to have a running back because when you're watching preseason games, now you can get excited about one of your rookies. They also drafted, I will say, can you look up this guy's name, the receiver they drafted?
Yeah, Emmanuel Henderson Jr.
What does he run?
A 4.44.
Yeah, he's fast.
He's a little faster than Bo Stevens.
I don't. Part of me was like, does this mean Torrey Horton's shin has exploded into the earth because he's still not cleared for football activity? But I don't know. Just throwing a guy on. Apparently, this receiver too is like a great special teams gunner, like on defense. You know, it's just like when you're the Super Bowl champs, you go find guys to play a specific role. It's the reason they could sign Rashid Shaheed. So the reason we could do that is when you have the depth, you're Super Bowl champ, and you bring back Cup and Bobo and JSN and Rashid Shaheed and maybe Horton. And now you're going to throw in this rookie who just maybe you throw a bomb to every once in a while. Like, come on. They're just loaded. So you go find the things you need to fill your up. You need a gunner. You need a backup guard. You need depth in your secondary. In this case, you need a starting running back, but they filled all the needs, it seems like. The only thing they didn't fill, real quick, is a pass rusher. And it sounds like they're going to draft, maybe sign one as soon as this week.
Yeah. Who else had a good draft?
Who?
Jed Fish had a good draft.
Come on. Well,
7 players?
Have to put this in the Huskies?
I'm sorry. We're a Seattle podcast.
Are these Jed Fish's players or are these DeBoer's players?
A lot of them. I mean, that's an interesting question because there was a Jeremy Bernard, right?
And in
played
fairness,
for the Huskies for a year. Went to DeBoer, right?
Did Bryce get drafted or no?
Bryce got drafted. Tacario Davis got drafted.
And Coleman. Those are all Fish guys.
All Arizona guys, yeah.
Right.
Came with them.
But Boston is a DeBoer guy.
Yeah.
Well, he's actually not a DeBoer
probably a
guy,
Jimmy
right?
Lake guy.
Yeah, he's a Jimmy Lake guy.
Yeah. I think the most interesting thing was, like, even if guys didn't necessarily have the most standout years, like, they were either drafted or they signed as a free agent. And I thought that was like, I mean, God, Omari Evans signed an NFL contract. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Grady Gross is going to the camp with the Chiefs.
Let's go, Grady Gross.
Ontario Thompson got drafted to the Falcons. Like, no one was talking about how good Ontario Thompson was all season long.
Kev, while you're talking about it, since we're both alums, Seattle Prep's own Jack Velling.
Yeah.
Great guy. Going to camp with the Atlanta Falcons. So that's very exciting.
Was he drafted or was he...
No, free agent. Free agent.
Yep. Okay. Yep. That's it. The free agent thing's interesting because, like, that might even be more advantageous than getting drafted in, like, the later rounds because you're not getting paid as much in the later rounds. And then you have the freedom of choice in terms of, like, finding a good spot for you. So
totally.
Congratulations to him. Yeah.
I have a top 5 for you, draft related. I don't know if you have a top 5 for me this week.
I have one for you, and you got to know it's Washington Huskies related.
Okay, perfect. Let me do mine first because it's draft related. I thought about doing Washington Husky draft related, but I'm going to go Seahawks draft related.
Okay.
Top 5. Okay. There are 5 players in the history of the Seattle Seahawks who were top 3 picks. Can you name them?
Top 3.
Yep. History of the Seattle Seahawks. Top 3 picks.
Man.
There's people at home just throwing names out right now, for sure.
They have to. God, that's really hard because they have to be like
for you.
Hella good in college. Like, not like. So,
well,
like,
yeah,
I'm just going to go through my thought
process.
Like, Marshawn was not a top 3 pick.
He wasn't even drafted by the Seahawks, Kev. This is a bad start.
They have to be. That's the other part.
Yeah.
Like,
this isn't that hard. If you're old like me, you know a lot of these.
Yeah. See, I'm not old like you, right?
Do you need the years? Would that help you? Would that be fair?
Yeah, the years would be helpful.
All right, we have 2 number 2 picks overall. We've never had a number 1 overall pick in the history of the Seattle Seahawks. How about that? I'll give you the easy one first. 1990, number 2 overall. Nope, sorry, 1993.
Cortez
number
Kennedy.
2 overall. Nope. 93 is not Cortez, but I'm going to give it to you because Cortez was 1990. He was the number 3 overall pick.
Let's go. Okay.
Okay, you backed into that one. 1993, number 2 overall pick. You got to know this. Every Seahawks fan knows this one. Okay. This was going to be franchise changing.
There were
2 guys who were absolutely going to go 1 and 2 in this draft. They're both quarterbacks.
To be fair, I was 1 year old when this draft happened.
If you know anything about Seattle sports, you know this, Kev. I just gave you the huge clue. I said there's 2 guys in this draft, 1 and 2, and they're both
Walter
quarterbacks.
Jones.
And they're both quarterbacks, Kevin. Are you listening to anything I'm saying? You're just blindly in space, just talking to yourself. I said 1993, 2 guys. They're both quarterbacks. The Seahawks got number 2, so they got the second guy.
They got a quarterback number 2? Oh my God. Someone's pulling their hair. Our dads are yelling in their graves right now.
I'm yelling at you literally on the podcast.
Oh God, I don't know who it is.
Rick Meyer, number 2 overall pick in 1993.
Man,
from
what
Notre
a bust.
Dame. Yeah, number 1. Do you know who it was? Ryan Leaf.
Kind of a bust too.
They're both busts, but the fact that you don't know this and you pretend to be a Seattle
I don't
podcaster.
know who Rick Meyer is.
Okay, first of all, now you just said you don't know who he is, which is basically saying like you don't know Seattle sports.
Yeah.
Okay. 1997, number 3 overall pick.
Ricky Waters.
You are absolutely terrible at this. Ricky Waters played for the Niners and the Eagles before he came to Seattle. He got signed as a free agent, and he was not the number 3 overall pick. It was Sean Springs, cornerback.
Oh, that's good. Did he play at Arkansas?
No, this is all good, Kevin. You're just bad at it. And I'm not trying to beat you up, but this is embarrassing.
When I'm bad at top 5, you really jump on me.
Oh, yeah, I do. Okay, here are the other 2 because you've already lost. 1983, Kurt Warner, the running back, number 3 overall. And in 1976, I think it's the inaugural draft, or it could have been after the first year, Steve Niehaus, who was a, not related to Dave, who was an offensive lineman, went number 2 overall.
There you go.
So, wow, that was a great top 5 for our listeners. Not as much for you.
Okay.
People are so mad about you not knowing Rick Meyer. And then you said you don't even know who he is.
I'm changing our top 5.
You're just going to try and get me now? That's the thing?
Hell yeah.
Oh,
so can you name...
You're such a child. You're like one of my children right now.
Can you name 5 Huskies that were drafted in round 1? In the
history of Washington?
In the history of Washington Huskies football. But here's the catch. 1993 and before. So nothing past 1993.
Sure, why not?
All right, let's do it. Steve Emman, yes. Number 1 overall pick. Crazy. And I'll give you hints too, if you like them. Man, that 92 draft class, crazy.
Well, this one's, I don't know. Can I get a... I don't know if this is fair.
I can give you teams and I can give you
here's the
positions.
thing. Warren Moon did not get drafted into the NFL, I think. I think he got drafted in the AFL or CFL. But he was like the number 1 overall pick, I think.
Yeah, so he's not there.
All right. So then don't count that as a strike because I had all the
absolutely
information.
not.
Okay.
Let me give you some hints.
Just give me a second. Let me just. Chris Chandler.
He was round 3.
Oh, interesting.
That was pretty good, though. That was pretty good.
Dang. I know Brunell and Hobart were not.
Were later.
They were later. Brunell was like a 4th round or 3rd round pick.
Brunell was 5th round.
There is Napoleon Kaufman.
No, because he's post 93.
Wait, what? Oh yeah,
he's 95.
Okay,
with the Raiders.
Lincoln Kennedy is after that, right? No, he's one on Lincoln Kennedy.
There you go. There's 2. You got Lincoln Kennedy, number 9.
There's got to be other
drafted by the Falcons.
Offensive linemen, probably.
Here's someone that you should get.
Okay.
Played cornerback for the national championship team.
Dana Hall?
Yes. I'll give you that.
That was a pretty good pull right there. Was he drafted by the Niners?
Yes.
Boom.
18 overall. That one was pretty good.
Yeah, especially for someone on the other side who didn't know who Rick Meyer was, the number 2 overall pick in 1993, who went to Notre Dame, which isn't like your childhood love Notre Dame or something like that. Also, can I just say for a second, Rick Meyer was drafted number 2 overall. He threw 15 touchdowns and 6 interceptions in his senior year at Notre Dame. 51% completion percentage. Maybe we were all wrong on Rick Meyer. Maybe 51% and 15 touchdowns shouldn't be drafted number 2 overall.
Did you see the thing about the guy that's played like maybe 5 games of college football that got drafted, and then Diego Pavia didn't even get signed on free agent contract?
Yep.
Crazy. All right, so you're at 3. Let me just give you some more hints here. Detroit Lions defensive tackle in 1987.
Ooh.
Round 1, pick 7.
Am I going to know the name?
His name is an alliteration. Does that help?
No.
Reggie Rogers.
Oh, that's like Regina Rogers' dad, I think. She played. Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
And then I'll give you one. Yeah. Here's another one. 1986, linebacker, Bengals. Number 11 overall.
Man. I'm not good on the 80s Huskies football.
Joe Kelly is his name.
No, I got nothing on Joe Kelly. Sorry.
There you go.
What about Hugh McElhaney? Was he a number 1? Is he a 1st-round pick back in the day?
Yeah, number 9 overall by 4.
That's what I was going to say before you started forcing me to say linebackers.
1952.
Yeah. What about Lawyer Malloy? Would have been later, so that doesn't work.
Yeah, 96, and he was a round 2 guy.
There's got to be like a 80s. How about Mark Bruner?
Yes, number 27. He's he was after Kaufman, so he's in 95. Dang it. But here's some other round ones post 95.
I have all the like 90 to 95 guys, like Benji
Jake
Olsen.
Walker.
Yeah, I could do all these. I could do all these ones.
Desmond Trufant.
Yep, that's who I was going to name first before you gave me the
many.
thing.
Look at this 2015. There were 3 of them. Shelton, Peters, and Thompson.
Oh, Danny Shelton. You know, have I ever told you that Danny Shelton, like my wife just like fell in love with him because he was taking this class at UW and he was like so kind, and she would just like run into him when she worked there, and he was just like a nice dude. And
say hi. Yeah.
The professor of the class knew Dana, and she would tell him like he was just a great dude. And yeah, Danny Shelton, good dude.
Yeah.
Is he out of the league? Probably is, huh? Or is he still playing?
He might still be playing.
God, I can't believe how bad Rick Meyer was.
Nope, he's a former man. Yeah, that age 32, you kind of age out of the league.
32, man, that makes me feel old. I felt like he was 25. Man,
God, he played for the track team at UW?
Do you know who Dan McGuire is?
No.
They also drafted him in the 1st round. He's Mark McGuire's brother.
Oh, crazy.
Seahawks quarterback.
Dang.
Kevin, I could name you 10 Seahawks quarterbacks you may have never heard of. Starting with Meyer, Dan McGuire, Stan Gelbaugh, John Freeze. You know John Kitna, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't he a teacher in Tacoma?
He has been, but he keeps coaching in other places like in Arizona and stuff like that. You know Dave Craig?
Yeah, I've heard that name. 1979. Right. Yeah.
No, he was in the 80s. Kev.
Sorry. It's all the same to me. That's when they had cassettes. It always we talk long enough.
That's true.
There's always connections that
it
can
always
be made.
circles back. It always circles back.
Oh man, what a week. Yep. What's coming up this week? We got more Mariners baseball.
Big Twin Series. Randy Johnson retirement on the weekend. The Storm we didn't even get to. You know, I watched part of their preseason game. They're getting closer. They're going to be a hot mess, but fun to watch. Yeah. I went to the Rain game today. It was a disaster. They lost 3-0 and Fishlock got hurt in a retirement tour. She's now done something terrible to her leg. It was a real bummer. So we got a lot of sports, but you know, kind of a weird time where it's like a lot of baseball now for us to talk about. So more Dan Wilson, more concession stock, more me yelling at Kevin next week.
Yeah, we'll see everyone next week, and hopefully not as much yelling. All right,
No, there's gonna be yelling.
Talk to you soon.